All right. Hey, good morning. Sorry, we're about a minute late. Ryan and I were having a lot of fun on the other line. I appreciate you all and super excited to introduce the guest to you. It's my guest, Ryan Overcash. And let me just give you a little bit of an insight on him. Him and I have got connected together in the real estate world and just started following each other. And on his Instagram, where I like to go to read bios and just who they are and what they're about, you got to check out his Instagram, Ryan Overcash. And we're on the morning mastery call with Spencer Caldwell, and his first thing says helping you achieve self-mastery in life. So with that being said, I won't take up too much time. Ryan, please just introduce yourself and who you are and what you're all about.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you for the introduction, Spencer. Truly appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Again, like Spencer said, my name is Ryan Overcash. I am really big on self-development. Self-development has changed my life. It's changed the trajectory of even my family. And, close friends and family being around me over the years have seen the change so much that it's contagious. And I've watched the power of it just, again, change the way people live their lives. And I'm here because somebody helped change my life and impacted me and was patient with me and helped me get through all my mental struggles, in the self-talk, the negative self-talk, anything that was holding me back self-development-wise. They believed in me and helped me long enough to where it caught on. And once I started to really understand self-development, I knew that this is something that's missing. It's my passion to pour into other people and to help them, as I was telling Spencer earlier, help everyone make sure that they get out of their own way and that they're able to interact and work their peak performance day in, day out, regardless of how they're feeling, right? So anyway, that's the introduction. Spencer, I don't know if you want me to keep going with that.
No, that's perfect. I really, really appreciate it. You said a couple things that I'll just touch base on and we can work off there. And I sent you a bit off your Instagram, and I definitely want to touch on that. Let me check on those notes here. So basically, actually, I'm going to go into that after some of the things you touch base on. So Ryan, obviously, his focus has been self-development for a while, and he mentioned something that I find interesting is he's thankful for those that have been patient with his struggles, and I'm sure that you can relate to someone in life, and people that believed in him. And, talk to me a little bit about, in the growth mindset department of self-doubt and negative talk. And I liked what you said about, hey, when someone says, I might do this, or maybe I'll be there, or this or that. Can you dive into that a little bit more for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So negative self-talk, self-doubt, huge among entrepreneurs, among just everyone in general, but entrepreneurs, we get thrown through that quite a bit. And so I started digging into that, and what I found and what I believe, and even in my own experience, I realized that we were not born with self-doubt, that we were born to be great. And somewhere along the line of our environment and ways that we grew up, things from the outside, whether it's people, places, environment, shaped the way that we think and the way that we look at ourselves. And then from there, our brain wants to go find examples to prove us right, that we're not good enough, we're not born in the right family, we don't have the right skin, hair, whatever color, we're not the right, we're just not the right person, right? So doubt, when you start to think about it, we were not born with it. It's made up. We would not say that about ourselves. So it really starts with being intentional, have an intentional awareness of what you're saying, because what you say carries weight. So if you're saying right off the bat, I might, I think, I'll try, that's basically that you're telling yourself, you're giving yourself an out, that if it doesn't work, it's okay, because you're trying to protect yourself. Somewhere along the line, what has happened with the self-doubt is we lost confidence in ourselves. Most likely we lost confidence in ourselves because we lost trust in ourselves, and we lose trust in ourselves when we we don't do the things that we say we're going to do. We continue to allow our feelings or our emotions in that moment decide how we're going to live. And the opposite of that is taking a moment, and again, I can explain this later. I want to go too deep on this, but taking a moment, right, and understanding what your values are. So I use two words interchangeable, either standard. Some people, like, that speaks to them, like, hey, I have a standard that I abide by regardless of how I feel, or I have values that I align with, and I make decisions based off of my values, right? So again, if you're saying I'm try, I might, again, I'm a little bit of that self-doubt. You, again, don't trust yourself. You're listening to that voice, and what it really takes is what it takes to get out of that is self-awareness, listening to your thoughts, and remembering and connecting to your standard values, and you make the decisions based off of that.
Right. No, man, I love that. So one thing you just covered is we were born to be great. I mean, let's just bluntly say it. I mean, we are, God gave us this life. God wanted us to be great, and we were born to be great. And our potential is what God wants us to be and who we are. And that's interesting. I haven't, I've skirted around this subject a little bit, and I've already got a half page in notes, and it's going to turn into a full page here in a minute. So I appreciate all the stuff you're covering. So on the negative self-doubt and self-talk, I'm just going to capture and go over a few of these things. You said we were born to be great, and we weren't born with this self-doubt, and our brain looks for examples of self-doubt. Why do you think our brain goes there into the negative self-doubt and looks for examples, and why does our brain even let us do that?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That is so crazy. And to go in a little bit further on that, Spencer, most of us maybe have heard of this, but RAS, Reticular Activating System, the example that gets thrown around a lot is when you're buying a new car. You buy a new car, maybe it's a white Ford, I don't even know what cars are these days, Ford Escort, and all of a sudden you start seeing white Ford Escorts everywhere you drive, even though you never saw them before. So what our brain does, our ego likes to protect us. It goes and tries to find ways to prove our thoughts right. So it'll go back in your past, right, without you knowing. You're unconscious. You're not conscious. You're unconscious in this time. You're just going through life, and it starts thinking of times when someone said you weren't good enough. You're like, oh, yeah, your brain connects to that. Yep, you weren't good enough. It goes to where someone says, hey, you're stupid, and and you believe it, and your brain goes to those memories and starts collecting all this data without you knowing it to prove you right. And again, that's all from our brain is so smart, and we got to take control of our minds. We need to tell our minds what to think and not listen to it. And I'll end this little segment with this, Spencer. To help with this, guys, because this is big for me. This is huge. I've had so much self-doubt. I've been through so much of this stuff, and it nearly destroyed me. But I heard this from Ed Milet, and I did it, and it actually works. And I thought it was foo-foo in the beginning, but believe me, it works. I helped other people do the same thing, and they all smile when I first say it. But if you do it and be intentional about it, you can break that connection. What it is, you got to disconnect. You got to rewire the way you think. And so if you have a thought that comes in your brain like says, hey, Ryan, you're not good enough to be coaching. What do you think you're doing? Stop what I'm doing. Believe me, it happens. And I say out loud, yes, I am. I am enough. I am doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing God's work here. Right? I'm a reflection of God. I stop what I'm doing and talk out loud, Spencer. And that's what we got to do. You got to reprogram the brain. And the 3 steps that will happen is in the beginning, you will still, so for instance, again, you will say, oh, I'm not good enough. But after you say it, instead of it bringing you down, you'll be like, wait a minute, I am good enough, right? So you'll catch it after you say it. After you keep doing it in I'm making this time frame up, 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be, you're about to think it, like you're about to say, I'm not good enough. In the middle of that thought, you'll catch yourself because you're starting to reprogram it. You're like, wait a minute, oh, I am good enough. So you catch it in the beginning, and then the final stage, it goes away. You won't even know it went away until you realize, like I did one day, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't had that thought in a month or 2 months or whatever that is. And that makes you smile. That gives you confidence. And when you get confidence, that self-doubt is gone. Opposite of self-doubt is confidence, people. And that's what we're aiming to be, confident day in, day out.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for being so passionate about that. Opposite of self-confidence is doubt. I'm just writing that down. I'm just taking my notes here. So you mentioned something also that's coming back to me. It's called intentional awareness, and basically say no to the mights. I try. I think. So actually, I was going through some of your content last night, and I was over in Chandler, and my boy, I've got a 14-year-old, almost 15-year-old that skates full time, and his goal is to go to the Olympics 2028, and he's very devoted to his sport and craft of skate. And we're over in KTR Chandler, and I knew he was going to be there for an hour and a half. My dad doesn't live too far away, so I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm going to come over and watch the game with you. And I knew darn well that I had a good hour and a half to go over and watch the game with my dad. So I texted my dad and said, hey, are you watching the game? He said, yes. And then just my brain said, okay, I might come over. When I darn well knew that I was doing nothing else and I was going 100% to go spend time with my dad and enjoy this football game. And I still said, okay, I might come over. And I actually just watched your thing 5-10 minutes previously. And I'm like, man, I don't know why I said I might come over. I'm like, so I should have said, hey, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. And so I think with that, we just get, like you said, we just get in this almost bad habit of just kind of being mediocre and like, hey, I might, or I've tried, or I think, or maybe, and just be a little bit more confident with ourselves and with it voicing to others. What do you think about that, Ryan?
No, absolutely. I'm smiling on this end because I love it because you just did it. Like right there is proof in the pudding. You happen to see some content, whether it was mine or anybody else, it doesn't matter, but it mentioned it. It's in your head, right? You had that cognitive dissonance when you said it. You're like, wait a minute. I just heard why I don't want to be saying self-doubt or maybe or be on the fence, and I just did it to my dad. So your actions and your words, right, so to speak, are kind of not aligning. That's that cognitive dissonance. That's the beginning stage of catching on to it. And so you decided, and you basically went into the next part of it, which is you said, I am, right? I am statements are amazing to help you get through this stuff. I am going to see my dad. I am going to be the best father, son, brother, son leader that I intentionally be the best father, son leader that I can be, right? I am the best real estate mogul in Phoenix, whatever that may be. But right. Yes, Spencer, that is exactly it. You caught it because again, it was you were conscious in that moment of what you said. There was a moment that you had a little bit of a break to make a decision, to make a choice. And you made a choice, again, I'm assuming, right? Made a choice right. Based off of your values. You wanted to go see your dad and watch the game. That was value to you. Right. That's the way that I interpret that, man.
That's awesome. No, I totally agree. So, man, a lot of good content. Ryan, we're wrapping up. You and I could talk, I'm sure, for the next several hours on this exact topic. So I appreciate your energy and your fire. Just it gets me going and excited to continue my day and to just be the best that I can today in all aspects of life. So I really appreciate you, and thanks for everything. This is great. Anything else that you would like to close on before we let everyone get going?
Sure, man. First of all, thank you, Spencer. You're doing great things for the community, as I already told you. Sure, all your people know that already, but you're an amazing human being, and that's what attracted me to you. That's why I reached out to you, and I'm glad we had an opportunity to connect. I love this stuff, as you can tell, very passionate about it. You and anybody on your team ever need to reach out for anything, I'm here for you. And to leave off, or to end the call, I'll say this. This is from my mentor, Ben Newman, and he can do it one of two ways: standards over feelings or values over feelings. And again, what I'm saying is live by your standard, make decisions off of your standard and what you value, not how you feel in the moment. If I make decisions based on how I feel, I go to the gym 7 days a week. That's just my thing. If I made a decision on going to the gym on how I feel, I'd probably go 2 times a week. I'm 44 years old. I'm old, right? So that's what I'm saying. Make decisions today based on your standards or your values, and you will not go wrong.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys go. Yeah, man. Okay. Hey, you guys go give Ryan a follow on Instagram, Ryan Overcash, and take a look at more of his content. And you guys, I think we've stacked you full of some great content today to be successful and to have an awesome day. So Ryan, thank you so much again. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure.